In the previous lesson, what we did is we went ahead and made sure our site was free of any errors. We made sure not only that it was error-free, but that it looked great in all browsers. And now it comes to the really exciting part, I think, is where we get the opportunity to go ahead and upload this website. So I've been working in the My Site folder, so you should have all of these files if you've been following along. If you haven't been, feel free to go to the Lessons folder, and we're in Lesson 15, so you could always take those files and then copy them into the My Site folder. Again, these are all the files that I now want to upload. Alright, so I'm going to launch Dreamweaver, and right down here in my Files panel, you can see that this says Local Files, and I'm really in my local view here. In fact, what I could do is I can go ahead and click to expand both the local files here as well as the files that are on my remote server. So this may be new to you, and quite frankly what's going on here is what I need to do is I need to take all of these files that are on my desktop and I need to upload them to a server, otherwise known as just a computer, where my site will live. I not only need to do that, but what I need to do is I need to get a domain name, okay, or URL, a Uniform Resource Locator, some name that a user can type in their web browser that will then point to the web server where the site will live. So I need those two things, and often you'll get those from a hosting provider. You're able to get your domain name and your website hosting service, both those things. And once you go there and you define your domain name, in this case it's just going to be Ristorante Paolo Belletti. That's going to be the name of the domain name, restaurantepaolobelletti.com. And once that's defined, what you can do is define your server. So I'm going to go ahead and on this remote server panel, I'm going to select Define a Remote Server. That brings up this site wizard right here. So starting at the top, if I select Site, notice how this is my site name, and this site folder points to that My Site folder. So I'm going to take all of this content that's in this folder and I want to upload it to a server, which again is that next tab right here, Servers. Okay. So what I need to do in here is I need to add a new server. So I'm going to click that plus button, and I'd first give this server a name, and I can call it, if I have multiple ones, I can call it whatever I want. But in general, I'll just call it Ristorante Paolo, what the site name is. Okay, that's just the server name. If I had multiple servers, again, if I had multiple servers that my site lived on in different parts of the country, I could do that. But what's most important are these three areas, because from your web service company, your hosting provider, they would give you an FTP address. So that's the File Transfer Protocol address. You need this address to be able to upload your site to that specific server. So the FTP address just happens to be, in this case, the name of the website. So I'm literally just going to copy and paste that in here. Now yours is not going to be this same name, of course. It's going to be the name of your choosing, or something that you've gotten from your web hosting provider. So again, FTP address I need. The username would have been defined through my website hosting provider as well. In this case, it's Paolo Tranny. It's one word. But again, these three things I would have gotten from my website hosting provider. And then once you have those things in those boxes, you can click Test. It'll run through, and sure enough, Dreamweaver has connected to the web server successfully. So it's established that connection, which is great. I haven't uploaded anything yet, but that's the next step. Okay. And again, I can drop in the URL, that's fine. I can define an additional directory if I wanted it to live in a different folder. But again, I'm just going to keep this simple. All I really need to do is click Save, and now it's listed right here, and everything's good to go. So click Save. And again, in this Files panel, it does say to see your remote files, go ahead and click that connection button. Happens to be right here. Click there, and these are all the files that currently are on that server. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch a web browser, and I'll just type in the URL. Ristorante Paolo Belletti. This is just a temporary page that web hosting providers will often put up on their site. And what this is this is actually the welcome.html page. So if I minimize that browser and I'll go back into Dreamweaver, that's what this welcome HTML page is. That's where that came from our hosting provider. And all I really need to do is just go ahead, I need to upload all of this content. So again, establish the IP address, username, the password, click this connect button, and then it's just a matter of uploading. So right here, this up arrow says put files, put them up on this server. It's the same thing as upload, but I can go ahead and click that button. And are you sure you want to put the entire site? I certainly do. This is an exciting part. It'll go through and upload all of those files. Great. So once that's done, you should see it listed out on the left-hand side. Looks good. Here's the index.html file. That will be my home page. So again, this is the exciting part. I'll just go ahead and close that panel, and I will go out to the web browser again. And again, when the user finds this site and when they type in that, or if they type in that URL. So as you can see, the web page didn't load, and quite frankly what's happening here, and this happens on occasion, is it will cache or store a temporary version of this page on your computer. So to see the latest, what you need to do is clear your cache or your temporary files. It's done different ways for different browsers, but for Safari, just select Safari, and I'm just going to go ahead and empty the cache. Okay, you sure you want to do it? Just click empty, and again, it's different for different browsers, but I've just cleared out all of the temporary files. I'll click refresh. Sure enough, the page actually is there, and everything looks great. This is really exciting because obviously you can see the site. It's actually out there live. Anyone sort of around the world can access this URL and see this wonderfully designed site. So if you've watched all of these lessons, you really have the fundamentals for making any sort of website you'd be interested in, complete with graphics, code that is working great, additional interactivity, maps, all sorts of things. But most importantly, I really want you to enjoy the process of making your very first website, and also I encourage you to check out these additional resources that will show up in a second. So again, my name is Paul Tranny, and thanks for watching.